There are moments in life when everything feels delayed, when prayers seem unanswered, and when hope begins to flicker like a candle in the wind. You've done the right thing, you've tried your best, you've waited patiently, and still nothing seems to change. In those quiet, heavy moments, it's easy to believe that you've been forgotten. But what if the delay is not denial? What if what you're experiencing is not abandonment, but preparation? God's timing is not abandonment, but preparation. God's timing is not bound by your clock, your expectations, or your circumstances. While you're counting days, He is orchestrating destinies. While you're wondering when, He is working on what and how. There's a divine order to everything in your life, and nothing arrives a second too early or a moment too late. Even the silence you're hearing right now has purpose. Even the waiting has meaning. Think about the seasons of life. No farmer plants a seed and expects a harvest the next day. There is a process hidden, unseen, and often slow. Beneath the surface, roots are forming, strength is developing, and life is taking shape. In the same way, God is working beneath the surface of your life. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. Just because you don't feel it doesn't mean it's not real. Sometimes God allows delays because He is aligning things you cannot see. There are doors you've asked for that would have crushed you if they opened too soon. There are blessings you desire that require a stronger version of you, and so in His wisdom, He waits not to punish you, but to prepare you, not to deny you, but to develop you, not to deny you, but to develop you. You may be standing in a place right now where nothing makes sense. You've prayed, you've cried, you've trusted, and still you're in the same situation. But hear this clearly. God has not forgotten you. He knows exactly where you are, exactly what you need, and exactly when to release it into your life. His timing is not random. It is precise, intentional, and perfect. There will come a moment when everything shifts, a moment when the weight you've been carrying begins to lift, a moment when the answers you've been waiting for finally arrive, and when that moment comes, it will overwhelm you, not with confusion, but with clarity, not with fear, but with peace. You will look back at the waiting season and realize that every delay had a purpose. You will cry, but not out of pain. You will cry because you will finally see why things had to happen the way they did. You will understand why certain doors stayed closed. You will recognize why certain people had to leave. You will see how every setback was actually setting you up for something greater. And in that realization, your tears will become a testimony. God's timing has a way of revealing truths that impatience can never understand. When everything falls into place, you begin to see the bigger picture. You begin to realize that what you thought was a setback was actually protection. What you thought was rejection was actually redirection. What you thought was the end was actually the beginning of something far greater than you imagined. There is power in trusting the timing of God, even when it doesn't make sense. Trusting doesn't mean you understand everything. It means you believe in the one who does. It means you hold on, even when you feel like letting go. It means you keep walking, even when the path is unclear. It means you choose faith over fear, even when the outcome is uncertain. Right now, you may feel like you're in a waiting room, watching others move forward while you remain in the same place, but don't confuse stillness with stagnation. God is working in your waiting. He is shaping your character, strengthening your faith, and preparing your hearts for what is coming. Every moment of waiting is building something within you that you will need for where you're going, and when the time is right, everything will come together in a way that only God can orchestrate. Opportunities will appear, doors will open, favor will find you, and it will happen so suddenly, so perfectly, that you will know without a doubt that it was not by your strength, but by His grace. You won't have to force it. You won't have to chase it. What is meant for you will find its way to you at the exact moment it is supposed to. And when it does, it will feel right, it will feel complete, it will feel like everything you went through was worth it. So don't lose heart in the waiting. Don't give up in the silence. Don't let doubt convince you that nothing is happening. Something is happening. Something powerful, something intentional, something that will one day bring you to your knees. not in defeat, but in gratitude, because one day very soon, God's timing is going to reveal itself in your life in a way that will leave you speechless. The breakthrough you've been praying for, the healing you've been hoping for, the answer you've been seeking, it's closer than you think. And when it arrives, it won't just meet your expectations. It will exceed them. You will cry because you will finally understand. You will cry because you will see how every piece of your journey fit together. You will cry because what God has prepared for you is far greater than anything you could have planned for yourself. There are times in life when everything around you seems to move forward. Wow, you remain in the same place, waiting, wondering, and questioning why nothing is happening. You may feel as though time is slipping away, opportunities are passing you by, and the answers you've been praying for are nowhere to be found. In those moments, it is easy to believe that something has gone wrong, that perhaps you missed your chance, or that God has somehow overlooked your situation. But the truth is far deeper and far more powerful than what your emotions may be telling you. What appears to be a delay is not a mistake, and it is certainly not an accident. It is the precise and intentional timing of God at work in your life. God does not operate according to human schedules or expectations. He is not bound by deadlines, pressure, or comparison. While you may feel the urgency of your situation, God sees the entirety of your journey from beginning to end. He knows what is ahead of you, what you are capable of handling, and what needs to be put into place before the next step can unfold. When something doesn't happen when you've expected to, it is not because God is late. It is because He is aligning every detail perfectly so that when it does happen, it will be exactly right. There are moments when you may look at others and feel as though they are moving ahead while you are being left behind. You see doors opening for them, opportunities coming their way, and progress happening in their lives while you continue to wait. Comparison can quietly plant seeds of doubt in your heart, making you question your worth, your timing, and even your faith. But what you must understand is that your path is uniquely designed for you. God is not writing the same story for everyone. The timing that applies to someone else's life does not apply to yours. What may be right for them at this moment may not yet be right for you, and that is not a disadvantage. It is protection and pose working together. Sometimes if God were to give you what you are asking for right now, it would not bring the blessing you expect. It might overwhelm you, distract you, or even lead you away from the very purpose you are meant to fulfill. God sees beyond the immediate desire and looks at the long-term impact. He understands the weight of the blessing you are asking for and ensures that you are ready to carry it. This is why His timing is always perfect, even when it feels painful or confusing. Delays often serve as a form of divine alignment. There are things happening behind the scenes that you cannot see. Relationships being formed, circumstances being arranged, opportunities being prepared. God is working in places you don't have access to, moving pieces into position so that everything comes together at the right moment. If even one detail were out of place, it could change the outcome entirely. So while you are waiting, God is not inactive. He is actively orchestrating every part of your journey with precision and care. It is also important to recognize that timing is not only about external circumstances, but also about internal readiness. There are qualities within you that must be developed before you step into what God has prepared. Patience, humility, strength, wisdom. These are not built overnight. They are formed through experience, through challenges, and through seasons of waiting. What feels like a delay is often the process of becoming the person who can fully receive and sustain the blessing that is coming. You may not see growth happening, but that does not mean it isn't taking place. Just like roots grow beneath the surface before anything appears above the ground, there is development happening within you that will soon become visible. God is more concerned with who you're becoming than how quickly you are progressing. Because when the T comes for you to step forward, it will not just be about receiving something new. It will be about being fully prepared to handle it with wisdom and purpose. Trusting in God's timing requires a shift in perspective. Instead of focusing on what has not yet happened, you begin to focus on the faithfulness of God throughout your life. You remember the times when things worked out in ways you did not expect, the moments when doors opened at just the right time, and the blessings that came when you least anticipated them. These reminders strengthen your trust and help you realize that God has never failed you, even when you did not understand His ways. There is a peace that comes when you truly accept that God's timing is perfect. It frees you from the pressure of trying to control everything, from the anxiety of feeling behind, and from the fear of missing out. You begin to rest in the assurance that what is meant for you will not pass you by. It will come at the exact moment it is supposed to, in the exact way it is meant to, and with the exact impact it is designed to have. When that moment arrives, it will not feel rushed or forced. It will feel natural, complete, and undeniably right. You will see how every delay played a role in bringing you to that point. You will understand that if it had happened any earlier, it would not have had the same meaning, the same depth, or the same blessing. And in that realization, you will come to appreciate the beauty of God's timing in a way that you never could have understood before. Waiting is one of the most difficult experiences a person can endure, especially when your heart is filled with hope and your mind is full of expectations. You find yourself in a place where you know what you desire, you've prayed about it, you've worked toward it, and yet nothing seems to be moving. It can feel like you are stuck, like life has paused for you while everything else continues to move forward. In those moments, it is easy to interpret the waiting as a sign that something is wrong, or worse, that you are being overlooked or left behind. But what feels like stillness on the outside is often intense activity on the inside, where God is shaping you in ways you cannot yet see. Waiting is not punishment. It is not a sign that you have failed or that you are unworthy of what you are asking for. Instead, it is a season of preparation, carefully designed to equip you for what lies ahead. There are things within you that need to grow stronger, deeper, and more stable before you step into the next chapter of your life. Without this preparation, the very thing you are praying for could become overwhelming rather than a blessing. In the waiting season, your character is being refined. It is easy to have faith when everything is going well, when doors are opening and progress is visible. But true faith is built in the moments when you don't see results, when you don't have answers, and when you must choose to trust even when it is hard. Waiting stretches your faith beyond comfort. It challenges you to believe not just in what you can see, but in what you know to be true about God's nature and promises. Patience is another quality that is developed in waiting, and it is far more powerful than many people realize. Patience is not simply the ability to sit still. It is the ability to remain steady, hopeful, and faithful while time passes. It teaches you how to endure without giving up, how to stay grounded without becoming discouraged. This kind of patience becomes a foundation that will support you when greater responsibilities and challenges come into your life. Waiting also brings clarity. When you are constantly moving, constantly chasing the next opportunity, it is easy to lose sight of what truly matters. But in a season of waiting, distractions begin to fade, and your focus becomes sharper. You begin to understand your priorities more clearly, your purpose more deeply, and your direction more confidently. What once seemed urgent may no longer feel important, and what truly matters rises to the surface. There are also hidden lessons in waiting that you would not learn any other way. You learn how to trust without control, how to surrender your plans without losing hope, and how to find peace even when things are uncertain. These lessons shape your perspective and prepare you to handle future blessings with wisdom and maturity. Without them, you might receive what you desire, but lack the understanding needed to sustain it. Another important aspect of waiting is alignment. It is not only about preparing you, but also about aligning everything around you. There are people, opportunities, and circumstances that must come together at the right time. If you were to move ahead too soon, those pieces might not yet be in place. What feels like a delay is often the process of everything being brought into alignment so that when you step forward, everything supports your purpose rather than works against it. Waiting can also reveal what is truly in your heart. When things are delayed, your reactions, your thoughts, and your attitudes begin to surface. You may discover fears you didn't realize you had, doubts that have been quietly growing, or areas where your trust needs to deepen. While this can be uncomfortable, it is also an opportunity for growth. It allows you to address these areas, to strengthen your faith, and to become more grounded in your beliefs. It is important to remember that growth is not always visible. Just because you cannot see progress does not mean that nothing is happening. Much of the most important development in life takes place beneath the surf. Ace, just as a foundation must be strong before a building can rise, your inner strength must be established before you can carry what is coming. This kind of growth takes time and it cannot be rushed. In the waiting season, you are also being taught how to depend on God rather than on circumstances. When everything is going well, it is easy to rely on what you see and what you can control. But when you are waiting, you are reminded that your strength, your hope, and your future come from something greater than yourself. This dependence is not a weakness. It is a source of stability and peace that will carry you through every stage of life. There is a quiet transformation that happens when you begin to embrace waiting as preparation rather than punishment. Instead of resisting the season, you begin to learn from it. Instead of feeling stuck, you begin to grow. Instead of becoming discouraged, you begin to develop a deeper sense of trust. And as this transformation takes place, you become more ready with each passing day for what is ahead. When the time comes for you to step into the next chapter, you will not enter it as the same person who began the waiting season. You will be stronger, wiser, and more prepared. You will have a deeper faith, a clearer vision, and a greater ability to handle what comes your way. And you will realize that the waiting was not wasted time, but necessary time that shaped you into who you needed to be for what was coming next. There comes a moment in life when everything that once felt confusing begins to make sense, when the pieces that seem scattered and disconnected suddenly come together in a way that is clear and undeniable. It is a moment that does not arrive with noise or warning, but when it does, it carries a depth of understanding that changes the way you see your entire journey. All the questions you once asked, all the but you once carried, and all the struggles you once endured begin to reveal their purpose. What once felt like chaos begins to look like careful design. In the midst of waiting and uncertainty, it is difficult to imagine that such a moment could exist. When you are surrounded by unanswered prayers and delayed outcomes, your vision becomes limited to what you can currently see and feel. But there is something greater unfolding beyond your awareness, something that is being shaped with intention and precision. And when the time is right, that hidden work becomes visible in a way that leaves no room for doubt. The breakthrough you have been hoping for will not only change your circumstances, but it will also transform your perspective. It will allow you to look back at your journey with new eyes, seeing connections and meanings that were once hidden from you. You will begin to understand why certain paths were closed, why certain opportunities did not work out, and why certain relationships could not continue. What once felt like loss will begin to look like protection. What once felt like rejection will begin to look like direction. There is a powerful emotional release that comes with this kind of understanding. It is not simply about receiving what you have been waiting for, but about realizing why the waiting was necessary. The weight of confusion is lifted, and in its place comes a sense of peace and clarity. You are no longer burdened by the question of why, because the answer becomes evident in the outcome you now see before you. This is the moment when your tears change their meaning. They are no longer tears of frustration or disappointment, but tears of gratitude and awe. You realize that even in the moments when you felt alone, you were never abandoned, even when nothing seemed to be happening. everything was being arranged. Every delay, every setback, and every challenge played a role in bringing you to this point. There is also a deep sense of humility that comes with this realization. You begin to understand that what has taken place in your life is not solely the result of your own efforts, but the result of something far greater at work. This does not diminish your role, but it reminds you that there are forces beyond your control that have been guiding and shaping your path. It creates a sense of gratitude that goes beyond words, a recognition that you have been carried through moments you could not have navigated on your own. As your breakthrough unfolds, it also brings with it a renewed sense of confidence, not the kind of confidence that is based on circumstances, but the kind that is rooted in trust. You begin to trust not only in what is happening now, but in what will happen in the future. You realize that if everything came together in such a perfect way once, it can happen again. This trust becomes a foundation that allows you to face new challenges with courage rather than fear. Another powerful aspect of this moment is the way it reshapes your understanding of time. What once felt like wasted years or lost opportunities begins to take on new meaning. You see that nothing was truly wasted, that every experience contributed to who you have become. Even the painful moments had value. Even the delays had purpose. Time itself begins to feel less like an enemy and more like a partner in the process of growth and transformation. The joy that comes with this breakthrough is not shallow or temporary. It is deep and lasting, rooted in the understanding that what you have received is meaningful and intentional. It is not just about having your desires fulfilled, but about seeing how those desires fit into a larger purpose. This kind of joy is not easily shaken because it is built on something far more stable than external circumstances. As you stand in this place of clarity and fulfillment, you also begin to recognize the importance of the journey itself. You understand that if everything had happened quickly and easily, you would not have developed the same strength, the same wisdom, or the same appreciation. The journey, with all its challenges and uncertainties, was essential in shaping your ability to fully receive and value what you now have. This realization often brings a desire to encourage others who are still in their waiting season. You remember what it felt like to question, to doubt, and to wonder if anything would ever change. And now, with the perspective you have gained, you can offer reassurance that there is meaning in the waiting, that there is purpose in the delay, and that there is a breakthrough coming that will make sense of it all. The moment of understanding becomes a turning point, not just in your circumstances, but in your entire outlook on life. It changes the way you approach challenges, the way you handle uncertainty, and the way you view the future. It replaces fear with trust, confusion with clarity, and doubt with confidence. And in that transformation, you find a deeper connection to the journey you have walked and the path that still lies ahead. When you step back and look at everything you have walked through, the waiting, the uncertainty, the moments when you felt like giving up, you begin to realize that none of it was wasted. Every delay carried purpose, every season of silence carried preparation, and every closed door was guiding you towards something better than you could see at the time. What once felt like confusion was actually direction, and what once felt like emptiness was actually a space being created for something greater to enter your life. There is a powerful truth that rises above every doubt you have faced. God, H, has been in control the entire time. Even when you couldn't trace his hand, you can now trust his heart. The timing that once frustrated you is the same timing that protected you, shaped you, and positioned you exactly where you need to be. You were never behind, never forgotten, and never overlooked. You were simply being prepared for a moment that required everything you have now become. And now, as you move forward, you don't walk with the same uncertainty you once had. You walk with confidence, knowing that what is meant for you will come at the right time. You walk with peace, understanding that delays are not denials. You walk with faith, believing that the same God who brought you through every past season will continue to guide you into every future one. So hold on to what you have learned, trust in what you cannot yet see, and remember that when God's timing finally unfolds in your life, It will not only answer your prayers, it will exceed them in ways that will leave you in awe. God's timing will make you cry tears of joy, because in the end you will see that everything happened exactly as it was meant to.